Welcome to Flavour Hacking, the new way to consider cooking, using simple tricks, techniques, tips and a little appliance of science to take regular ingredients to restaurant-level deliciousness. Our food tester always focuses on one of four things: caramelization, the Maya effect, umami and enhancers. Today we're hacking the tasty tomato, a gift from the Aztecs. Tomatoes are packed full of umami, the fifth flavour we are often looking for to add a savoury kick to our food. This is highly present within the gel that surrounds tomato seeds, so never discard them. Tomatoes' distinct red colour is due to lycopene, a carotenoid hydrocarbon and powerful antioxidant. Picking the right tomatoes. To pick the right tomatoes, touch them. The firmer they are, the better. Tomatoes contain pectin, which softens their skin as it degrades. You want them to be firm but not rock solid. Also, check the vine and calyx, the top of the tomato. They have to look and smell fresh. The vine should bend and not snap. Tomatoes only grow in hot months. Temperatures below 13 degrees Celsius actually reduce their flavour. This is why we never want to store them in the fridge. Now let's focus on mastering the tomato sauce. First and foremost, never cook or cut your tomatoes with aluminium. The metal is highly reactive to the acids inside tomato and will alter the flavour with an unpleasant metallic taste. We want to optimise the skinning, so cut across the base of the tomatoes, then place them in boiling water for just 10 seconds. Then plunge them into an ice bath to stop the cooking and undress them. This is a hack called blanching. This inactivates certain enzymes and gases that cause flavour and colour loss. Cut the tomatoes lengthwise and remove the seeds. We want to place these in a sieve, separating this umami-rich gel that surrounds them. We put these juices with our diced tomatoes, then mix in 35 grams of extra virgin olive oil and 3 grams of salt. You will also salt again at the end. Then we bake our sauce in the oven at 250 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes, checking every 15 minutes and stirring if required. This caramelization of the sugars in the tomato creates a wonderful deep taste that's just not possible if you're using the stovetop. Now our tomato sauce is ready to be enhanced. Here are some of the best ones from the flavour wheel. Fine mixed onion and garlic added to the tomato before baking will add another layer of flavour. Basil placed in the sauce 5 minutes just before you finish is a classic pairing that will really lift the final taste. We also like Worcestershire sauce, especially in whole canned tomatoes. This will help balance acidity and add a real depth of flavour, but be careful, a few drops goes a long way. Finally, a classic, Parmesan will add a wonderful extra umami and salt hit that will really make those tomatoes dance on your tongue. Moving on to our second recipe of research, a tomato-confit. Tomato-confit is a simple way to really turn up the intensity of tomatoes to surprisingly delicious levels. You start by keeping the skin on this time. It contains flavonoids, bitter antioxidants, but it also stops the tomatoes falling apart during this slow cooking process. Scoop out the seeds and cut the tomato lengthwise. Next, we lay our tomatoes face down on kitchen paper to dry them for 2 hours. This eliminates any extra water. After seasoning in a bowl with extra virgin olive oil, salt and a pinch of sugar to help the caramelization process, we lay the tomatoes flat on a tray. This allows them to absorb more seasoning while cooking. Place garlic and herbs on each tomato and bake in the oven at 100 degrees Celsius for over 3 hours. Time is our flavour hack here. For enhancers with confit, we have a few options that can be used before and after cooking. For after, citrus zest, lemon or orange release essential fresh aromas. Bay leaves when cooking as they add this deep, wonderful flavour and aroma. Black pepper works really well as a spicy offset. And then tossing them when finished in balsamic vinegar is another option to really accentuate the sweetness of these little flavour bombs. Now we want to take another look at tomato sauce with an experimental layered version. The 3-in-1 layered tomato sauce. We take 3 different sauces and we combine them to make one super sauce. All of our sauces are made using a mix of 2/3 plum tomatoes and 1/3 seasonal tomatoes. We start by cooking them all for 10 minutes on a medium flame. No oil needed, this is just to make them easier to mill. We take 1 cup away, this barely cooked puree holds the freshness of the vine. We then lay 1/3 of our total on a thin layer on a large baking tray. This will help remove excess water and also concentrate the sauce. We cook this at 200 degrees Celsius until a paste is formed, very dark and dense. Finally, we make our bulk sauce, sweating onions and garlic for 10 minutes in the pan, then adding the remaining tomatoes and cooking at medium heat for 45 minutes. This foundation provides flavour and volume. We now combine all 3 sauces in a pan. The light vine for the top notes, the rich paste for the deep umami, basey, caramelized hits, and then the middle sauce with the onions and the garlic to add extra depth. We then add our final hack, which is to reduce that seed juice that we've been saving over a low heat and create this wonderful sticky umami paste. We add this as our final kick for the sauce. And there you have it, a 3-in-1 super sauce, sure to take your tomatoes to whole new heights. Join us next time when we'll be hacking more wonderful, everyday used common ingredients.